Gentrification, according to Hubbard 2016, is the process of repairing and rebuilding homes, businesses or entire areas under deterioration accompanied by or to promote an influx of middle-class affluent people. This often results in the displacement of previous working-class populations or the locals. With this definition, I was able to begin my exploration into how the rise of tourism to the city of Madrid has impacted its culinary culture and levels of gentrification. To begin my research, I wanted to see what types of restaurants, bars and cafes were in the city and did a Google search using those terms to see. I expected the results to show and talk about mainly very authentic and traditional Spanish places, especially in a country with such poignant and iconic culinary culture. However, this was not the case. All articles and tourist guides listed restaurants and bars that seemed to be contemporary and not those typical traditional style Spanish places you would expect. They looked as if they could be found in any European city, and while this is not necessarily a bad thing, it was a surprise. Some examples were trendy coffee shops, vegan cafes, Michelin-star restaurants, and anywhere with a quirky, unique selling point. The only way to read about any smaller authentic types was when doing a specific search to find them. From seeing all of these types of restaurants, cafes and bars, I wanted to find out if they had come about at the expense of older traditional places, and it seemed they had. I browsed through a number of articles from local Madrid news sources and blogs that discussed the rise in gentrification and excessive closure of many other bars and restaurants. In one case, 3 bars shut down in the space of a year when the owners could not afford the rental price after the end of their old contracts, and subsequently were replaced by trendier restaurants. This happened in many places, and rises in rent and costs means many other eateries risk the same fate. But I thought, how much of this was actually down to tourism? To find out, I took to Instagram. Instagram is the hub of travel blogging and posting, and users often upload scenic or food pictures. I searched for a number of Madrid food hashtags, and immediately it became clear that tourists, or at least the ones who posted, were going to Madrid and not eating traditionally. All the places they seemed to visit were contemporary and on-trend, and not particularly Spanish at all. But was this the case because of their wants as a tourist, or because they simply had no choice because they were the only places available to eat and drink? To find this out, I contacted a friend who lived in Madrid for over a year when studying there, because gaining primary research would be valuable to a topic that is so location-specific. She told me just how much the city is tailored to cater to tourists rather than the locals. Madrid is rich in tourist attractions and spots, particularly in comparison to other Spanish cities because of how it makes its money to provide for its economy. She witnessed firsthand the closure of many bars and restaurants to make space for ones that attracted tourists. The interview helped me come to find out that because Madrid is the capital city, it is not the place to go for an authentic Spanish experience. However, this takes time to create and has been achieved by a process of gentrification. From all of the research I conducted, I was able to conclude that international customers and tourists choose to spend their money in more modern places when coming to the city. This is because the city is not trying to be traditionally Spanish to the extent we think of the country of being. This means the area has been gentrified to appeal to the tourists and consequently displacing and diminishing the livelihood of locals and their culinary culture.